Episode 2.
Hi.
Conversation 2. Hello. Right. You think we are getting in the swing, aren't we now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Okie doke. So, today, we're talking about something that sparked Sam off a couple of weeks back. And
Jen got some passionate voice notes from
Yeah.
me. Shall we call it passionate?
Yeah, passionate voice note. And because it was there and then, we did say, I mean, we have got a long list of stuff to talk about, haven't we? Like the prep for this, but it was very much in the moment. And I do think it covers quite a bit, the topic that we're going to go over. And we're going to start by, we've got our opener, we're going to talk about the word discipline, aren't we?
Yeah.
First.
Yes.
And then we'll kind of go into what's been, all the stuff that sits behind that.
Yeah.
Because I think from what we've spoken about, we feel like the word discipline, what that brings up for people, is not quite what we feel the actual meaning of it is.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a word that gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah. Discipline.
Yes. You've got to be disciplined.
But it serves a whole other purpose, doesn't it? Really, when you change like your perception.
Yeah. We're just shedding some light over
Yeah.
discipline, I'd say.
Completely avoiding becoming undisciplined.
Yes.
Being disciplined, because that's what this is about.
This is what it stands from. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that, and I think we'll come to this in a bit, but essentially the topic is about the excuses that we have, the reasons behind them, for and against them, and how we're putting our energy into being overly distracted, overly disciplined, or just in neither park, neither arena.
So we've titled it, Who Would You Be Without Your Excuses? Because we thought that was quite fitting.
Yeah.
And basically, in my line of work, as you know, I'm a personal trainer and I've done it for like 12 years now. But it goes across other aspects in life that I've noticed and I'm aware of. But it's really prominent for me because of the job that I do. And it's just the excuses that I would get from clients. And a big thing at the minute, and I've just noticed it the past few years, and it's heavy at the minute. And it's like the GLP-1, the jabs and stuff, and how people are just so easy to go there and stop what they were doing before because they found a quicker route.
A quicker route. And I feel like, I mean, there's always been a something. There's always been a Slim Fast. There's always been a Slimming World.
Yeah.
There's always been a thermogenic pill. There's always been a something.
Absolutely.
A something. And
a juice cleanse.
A juice cleanse. When I hear people, the juice thing gets me as well, because where's your fibre going? That's but no, but
nutrition's another episode.
Because that's not what this is about. This is about in all areas of life. So Sam's mentioned there about kind of from a personal trainer's perspective, excuses are rife, and we all know them because we all have them or have had them when it comes to health and fitness and weight loss.
Yeah,
essentially. But they're everywhere in relationships, money, jobs, all these different things, careers, that I think excuses for why we aren't where we are, or why we do something yet we still feel unhappy. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're gonna do something, and this is kind of the crux of the conversation, isn't it? If you're going to go away and do something and make a choice, be it an easy choice, be it a hard choice, because a lot of people think they're choosing the easy route, but it's actually the hardest way around something.
Going around the houses.
You're going around the houses, yeah. you've got to know why you're doing it. And then behind that, be committed to making the change or the changes that are required for that long-term gain and goal, not the instant gratification.
And that's where I find people struggle, because they do want that instant gratification in all areas of life. And we were talking before, it's social media, it's that instant click, that instant like, that instant dopamine hit.
That's it. Yeah. We're looking for that dopamine, that instant happy all the time.
And nobody is willing to put in the hard work anymore,
the
or very
work.
few.
Yeah.
And it's especially frustrating, and this is why I was voice noting Jen at the time, because I am very disciplined person, and the way I've been brought up, I've been witness to, like, I've watched my mum go through hard stuff, and I've been through it with it, and we've got through the other side. So I've witnessed it. So I feel very fortunate for that, because it's very much played a part in how I am now. But people just don't seem to have.
There's no resilience.
There's no resilience now.
Well, actually, there's no resilience. People aren't
for the
building
right
resilience.
things.
People aren't building resilience because they're not exposing themselves to the difficulty.
Yeah.
And as you say, they're making easy choices. Okay, so it's like, I've had a hard day at work, so it's like, so they go to something that's destructive as opposed to something that's...
So an example that I get a lot with clients is on their feedback, and this has just been constant throughout the years, is had a hard day at work, so I'll have a glass of wine.
Do you know what I'm laughing at? Because I'm laughing. You know Peter Kay, and he says, what does it say? He said, you're not gonna laugh because I'm overthinking this now. But it's that one in one of his shows where he's like, it's Slimming World, and she's gained all this weight. It's like 14 stone in a day. It's like, to have a full English breakfast. And the woman's like, why? And she said, well, I broke a nail. And do you know what I mean? It's like,
but that's it.
And that, I know
that's it.
It's the funny side of it.
I wasn't seeing results, so I went and had a glass of wine because I wanted to feel better. Yeah. Not realising that having your glass of wine is feeding your anxiety, feeding your depression. You're then going to wake up the morning after, make poor choices because you probably didn't sleep right.
Your cortisol, your ghrelin, all that, And it's not. This isn't about the expectation for people to know that physiological, that hormone, that chemical. That's different. This is just about, before you have that glass of wine, if you're on a 12-week transformation and you have that glass of wine, it's just remembering why you're doing what you're doing, why you signed up for it. And you know what? Essentially, tough shit, you can't have, you can't have it. I'll take that back. What I remember you saying to me once when I was on a plan with you, and I was hungry. This was, no, it's okay.
Okay.
No one's gonna write.
I couldn't have said anything.
No one's gonna write in.
I'm a live wire.
No, it's very simple.
Okay.
And I apply this to a lot of stuff now. And I remember moaning about feeling hungry. And Sam said to me, well, you're going to feel hungry. You're eating less. You're on a plan. So you're going to feel hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially what your meaning is, you've just got to be hungry. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And I apply that to a lot of stuff now. It's like, well, you've just got to be bored. You've just got to be bored, or you've just got to be uncomfortable, or you're just going to have to be angry in that moment. You're just going to have to be, you can either have a state of mind around something, and how you do one thing then is how you do everything. Or you can just understand that feeling is passing. So your difficult day at work is actually insignificant in comparison to these bigger choices you've made. So when you know why and what you're after, so I think that's kind of, we want you to know and think about, what are you after? What do you really want it for? What do you want a partner
Yeah.
for? What do you want?
What do you want to be on a 12-week transformation
Yeah,
for?
what
Like,
you sign up
what's
for a
your
PT for?
what?
What you're saving money for? What you're spending money for? You know, what you're checking yourself 5,000 times in the mirror for?
Yeah.
No, what are you having the jab for? What are you buying the pill for? What are you buying? You know, what are you on the dating app for? What we're trying to get at is, and highlight, is all of these choices that you make, or that we make, are fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with signing up to the dating app. There's nothing wrong with saving money. There's nothing wrong with, and you might think that's odd why we've bought that kind of that. But we're on about how these things that we do demonstrate our characteristics, aren't we?
Yeah.
And how committed you are, and how disciplined you are. And I feel like people do things today for a reason that they don't actually really know why.
No. And that's why the discipline doesn't stick.
Doesn't stick.
It's temporary motivation, which will take you so far. And then because you're not rooted in your reason and it's not to the core of you, you then are not disciplined.
Yeah. Somebody else's reason.
Because it's somebody else's reason, or
someone
something
else's
external.
story, and you don't really know why. And I think, like we were talking about, so we're using money as the example. You know, a lot of people think, I've got to save money, I've got to save. It's like, well, what are you saving for? Like, money is an energy, which it is, as is everything. It wants to be wanted and used, it wants to be enjoyed, it wants to be trusted, it wants you to experience it and then to encourage and attract more flow over it. But if you're stood there saving, 70% of your income, and it's not really being saved for a purpose, money doesn't like not having a purpose, and if you're quite rigid over it, for example, if you have a rigid attitude towards money, it's going to have a rigid attitude towards you, and you're not going to attract that in. So what you think you're doing it for actually is combating what you're after. And it's the same with if you're not getting the enjoyment, and you're not going to enjoy something if you don't really know the reason why you're doing it, which is why it feels good for a moment, and then it just creates an unhappy chain of events after.
In regards to like personal training, go back to that, a lot of people, it's based on ego. Results are based on ego and in the mirror and what you're seeing in the mirror. And it's not until clients change their mindset of why they're actually doing it. I've had somebody recently literally shift their mindset and they've started seeing results because they've stopped focusing on the scale weight because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then they've started thinking about, okay, I've got 2 children. It's the longevity of life. I want to be able to walk up the stairs when I'm 70 and play with my grandchildren and run around. And just that mindset shift, and results are now.
A result is complete.
Showing.
Yeah, and because you're anchored into something that's bigger. You're anchored into something that's like, okay, yeah, this isn't actually. When you can tie something and attach something to that bigger, better reason, people do struggle though with. A lot of people struggle, and I struggle with things that are too far away.
Okay.
So if something is too far away, like old age, not that I ever feel I'll get old age, I'll always just be whatever. But old age, so your body aging, being old.
Your essence never ages, though.
That's the one. I think when you say to somebody, oh, well, when you're older, your joints will feel this or this or this or, this. When it's all for when you're older, because people can't see that far. They don't want to invest in now. So I do think there's something to be said for having, yes, an immediate reason. Okay, so being able to wake up in the morning and feel revitalised, that is essentially when you've had the result of a good sleep. So you don't have to wait forever. You don't have to wait 12 weeks or 16 weeks for that to be, to be a tangible thing. So yeah, you might need to lose 6 kilograms. Well, okay, we're not going to get you there tomorrow. But if you go to bed at this time, because losing 6 kilograms is going to mean, if all you're thinking is it's going to be a smaller number down there, and that's as far as your reason goes, chances are you're never going to get there, because you're chasing after a feeling that means nothing. If you want to lose 6 kilograms because you want to feel healthier, you want to feel energized, you want to feel like you have a purpose and you're leaning into something, well, you can do that from the first meal you eat when you commit to that plan. You can do that by going to sleep at a reasonable hour and waking up at a reasonable hour and instantly feel really good about it. You don't have to have seen any movement on that scale to introduce those immediate feelings. And in that case, when you're seeking instant gratification, I can give you instant gratification if you go to bed earlier, cut your phone off an hour before, don't watch the news, don't listen to anything that's disruptive. And then 8 hours later, you'll wake up and you will feel instantly better. But because you're then taking away their phone an hour before bed, you're taking away their 10 o'clock news, because we're addicted to these things, because it's giving you something on some level and it's an unhealthy level. But because you're asking somebody to change something whereby they have to sacrifice,
and habitual as well, like people like the habits. And I was going to go off on one then. Finish what you were saying, because I'm going off on another avenue.
And it's sticking to the point, using this as the example, like the personal training. I bet you hear like, okay, so how many calories can I eat? I know you aren't very calorie orientated, we're not scale weight orientated. Your approach to work is about sustainability. It is about tapping into the feel good, and it's about gut health food, whole food, not so much calorie focused anymore. But when somebody says to you, oh, I can have 2,000 calories, oh, that's like 10 dairy milks. So if I eat 10 dairy milks a day, I'm going to lose weight because that's less than my expenditure. It's like, yeah, in theory. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
And that's the first, because, and I will openly admit that I feel like that, or have felt like that over food. It's like, well, you don't take away my cake, don't take away my chocolate. How can I lose weight by avoiding not eating? You don't take away my cake.
Yeah.
And that, I get that 100%, because anybody who knows me knows that, I've got a sweet tooth. But I think at some point, there is that, trying to point out that you've got to get to a realization of you are going to be hungry. To build a resilience, you're just going to have to sit in it.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I was doing some boxing training. I was in the ring and doing a bit more than I've done before. And Jeff was saying to me, you're being pushed to a line now. You're going over a line. And I'll be really honest, in my life, where I currently am, I'm not being pushed over too many lines.
Okay.
I feel quite structured and neat and tidy within lines that I've already been pushed over, and I'm all right where I am. I'm on the train track, if you like. But this is. And then all of a sudden, all this stuff kind of starts coming up for me, and I'm thinking,
okay.
Right, okay, yeah, I do feel quite uncomfortable now. And how does that feel? And where am I being pushed to? And I like it. I do like it, because I like to see what I'm going to pull out. Am I capable of pulling out? Because as you say, the next time I do that, I've now been there. It won't feel the same next time, because my body knows, oh, it's okay, we've been there, we can do this.
Yes.
But then I want to go over a line again. And I think that's where people have lost.
Yes.
Haven't they?
Yeah. It's that rewiring of the brain. Your brain will always go this way because that's what it's used to. And it's not until you're conscious about your choices and you're thinking about what you're doing that it will start to rewire, and you'll go another path. And then next time you come to do that, as you say, you want to push past that, and your body and your brain are more receptive. Okay, we've been here. It's a bit more comfortable, because people just want familiar and comfort naturally.
But then wonder why.
And then
nothing's changing.
Yeah.
What was that you said that you the quote that you said, the loop and the suffering.
The surrender to change or suffer in a loop.
In a loop. It's very poignant.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's that, I think that top and bottoms, it's what we're trying to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
That,
And it's the word surrender as well, surrender to change. But it's also, if you want change, push for that change as well.
Because it's not going to, just even wanting something, want means lack. Okay, so when you sit there saying I want something, you're actually affirming that you don't have it. So let's just clear that up. So it's got to be an intention. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. I want to lose weight, okay? Or I want to be 10 kilograms heavier. Well, when you say want, your brain thinks that means lack. That's exactly what that word want means, that you're lacking it. So stop affirming what you want and start affirming what you intend to do. Okay, so that's kind of one very easy initial step, isn't it? But yeah, you've just got to be able to go, right, identify those loops that you were stuck in. Identify what you actually want and your reasons why you want to come out of your loop. And then be accepting to, I'm suffering anyway.
And time's passing anyway.
Time's passing.
That's a big one for me.
Yeah,
time's passing anyway. So
accept that, yeah, you are going to have to just land in that place if something's got to alter. But only you know what that's got to be. And it's how you're presenting yourself then, isn't it, to the world? Because as well, I think there is, you'd mentioned it, about this fear of judgment that people have, this fear of persecution and ridicule, that if you step outside of your norm, you know, if you're in the middle of a load of friends who drink every night and go to bed really late and they read all the tabloids and they've got to be on trend and they're all, you know, none of them go to the gym and they're all miserable in their work and they're all in unhappy relationships and you're just within this circle, and then all of a sudden go, oh, I've had my revelation, I don't want to be here anymore. My whole life is going to change now because I'm coming away.
Yeah.
And there's no one within that group that's going to be supportive, because you're then going to be the black sheep. You're going to be the one that sticks out because you're making change, and you know that you're then subjecting yourself to ridicule. So you just stay in it.
So many people stay in it.
So many people stay in it because we love a good moan as well. And it feels weird to people, doesn't it, to then, you so evidently don't fit in. And I think we touched upon this before, but yeah, sometimes you need to just have conversations then with people. If you feel like that, don't you? I think if you feel like, oh shit, people are going to judge me for this, whether I fail or succeed. And I want to go on to something in a minute, which I think is a really good example that I spoke about before with you. And coming back to that word discipline. But I think when you know that you want something different, don't compare your different to everyone else's same. Because I can guarantee that, yeah, you might be the odd one for a while, but someone at some point is going to come to you and go, you know, when you did that, how did you do it? Because I'm now ready for that. It's just what state people are in on their journey of readiness, but they'll all be ready at some point.
People will meet you where you're at.
People will meet you where you're at. But just coming to the bit, so going back to that discipline, what for you does that word mean then, as opposed to discipline?
It's very much a self-respect thing for me. And I want to show up for myself. And I do show up for myself. And I think that's important for me.
Yeah.
It also reflects in my job as well, because I want to be seen as showing up, because I'm telling other people, you can do this. So why would I not then do it myself?
Yeah.
So that's massive for me. I'd say that's the biggest thing. The self-respect thing is.
So being disciplined isn't necessarily, this is that meaning for me, but just to summarise, for you, being disciplined isn't waking up at 5 a.m, doing this, not eating
No,
a cake,
no.
not eating going for every single day. We're running every single day.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
It's changed over the years for me. But I was thinking it to myself this week because I've just come off holiday. I climbed Scarfell Park straight away. I don't want to go back in the gym straight away and hit it hard. My body's not ready for that. I've just recovered from my knee coming down Scarfell, seen a physio. I'm still going the gym though.
Now, some people would say being disciplined is coming back Monday morning. You know, that's what breakfast got to look like. You've got to go into don't miss your Monday workout.
No, I knew I still had some recovery time to do, so I hit some carbs. I didn't train on the Monday. I then went back into the gym Tuesday. Now, I could have rest on the Tuesday because I'd seen the physio, but I didn't. I still chose the discipline of going to the gym.
Still showed up.
This session just looked different.
Yeah.
So I went to the gym, my normal time, and I stretched on the mat for 15, 20 minutes, and I walked on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Just to still show up in that discipline, but I wasn't disciplined as I normally do back today, so I've got to do back.
You flow with it.
Yeah.
Because your actual discipline is attached to your personal integrity. It's not attached to a singular goal.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm exactly the same. We were saying that before. I think for me, discipline is, well, it's exactly that. It is having it attached to your integrity, personal awareness. It's knowing that I'm disciplined to how I want to feel. I'm disciplined in seeking the feelings that I'm after. I'm disciplined to a bigger picture. My discipline isn't attached to repeat myself, to a singular thing, and therefore my actions have to be around what, getting me to that.
Yeah.
It's more about knowing, what I want that day. And the example that I wanted to give was around a run that you were going to do earlier on the year. And we spoke about this in a couple of different contexts, haven't we?
Yeah.
But I feel like you going outside of what once would have been a default pattern actually proves that you're disciplined. Your discipline is there, but it's attached to something different. So you tell the story.
Yeah, so last year I set up my charity and I ran all year. I just spent the year running amongst other things. And then in about the October time, I signed up for a run in the following year in the February. And I said to myself, I'll book that in and it will keep me accountable to the running because I don't just want to stop. I don't want to.
Some likes being kept accountable by sign up. But this is the point. This is the point.
So that was the mentality, and I was like, I don't just want to stop once my 40th year's gone and I've ran 40k, a 10k every week for the year. I just don't want to. So signed up for this run to keep myself accountable. And then the year comes, and then February hits, and I was like, I don't want to do the run.
Yeah.
Why am I doing the run? So I went back to the why.
What am I after?
What
am I doing it
what
for?
Am I doing it for? And it come back that it was, ego driven. I can. Sort of thing.
I can, so I will. But that's not aligned.
I've just spent the year running. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
And for
that for
that's
me,
alien. That's quite
alien.
But more so, that default.
Yeah.
So that would be massively alien for you to ever turn around and say, "I'm not doing something that I've
said I would
to do." That you said you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Yes.
But yet, for me, brings this little sense of pride that it's like, oh God, she's really evolved. Because it just takes me back to
You're not doing a run?
Yeah, it's like you signed up for something and you didn't do. Because I actually remember you were telling me at some point some stuff that you were doing this year.
Yeah.
That you got some stuff that you got in, events that you got in. And I do remember, I did remember you saying about a run, and I do then remember as the years gone on a little bit thinking, sure, Sam was doing something like a 10K or a something, and I just thought, oh, maybe it was.
Yeah.
It's just that you didn't do it.
Yeah.
But I was really, really, when we had that conversation and you'd said that to me, I genuinely did think,
yeah,
that is quite wonderful. Which sounds so counterproductive, counterintuitive. It's like, what? You're proud of your friend for not doing a run. It's not like I was proud of her for not eating the cake. I was proud of you for not doing, because of what that meant for the evolvement of
me personally,
of you as a human.
Yeah.
How your human condition is detaching from things that it really doesn't need as validation or as anchors, or to prove, or to, you know, you that was a massive thing that I thought, yes, Sam.
It was. And the work I did last year as well with my saboteurs, that was a hyperachiever that would have done that run.
Yeah.
The hyperachiever.
For all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, that would have wanted the gratification for doing it.
Yeah.
But why?
Because I think you've moved on.
Yeah.
And that again, coming back to, so we all, when Sam and I are very, very aware that we can go off on one.
Really?
Right, we are conscious.
We are.
So we could sit here and just chit chat about all kinds of stuff. So if I keep coming back to the object, it is because I'm really conscious of it's not because we could, and we can, and we will, we do. But so just bringing it back, that is what we're talking about. We're trying to turn that discipline on its head to get you to look at be disciplined to the bigger reasons why, and then shift the discipline. This word discipline. You say word so much it starts having absolutely no meaning. So the word discipline, have it attached to the right thing, which should be a bigger picture, a bigger sense of alignment, a bigger sense of presence, and a bigger sense of a sense of like those longer term. And again, I'm trying to avoid the short term, long term goal. I'm trying to avoid that kind of language, but if it lands, it lands. Just try and be disciplined to a feeling, and then learning how to seek that feeling as opposed on a deeper level, as opposed to instant gratification. We want gratification. We want you to feel satisfied and happy, but a longer lasting satisfied, a longer lasting happy, and going about it in a lot less complicated way. The simple stuff's the good stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
The simple stuff's the good stuff.
I'd like people to just be more aware of distractions, or the distractions in your life that are pulling you away from being so disciplined.
Yeah.
And becoming aware of that.
There's like for me, I work, like in my day-to-day job, I work from home predominantly. And on the days that I go into the office, like a group of us trying to get into the office, regularly. And when I am in an office environment, I find it very, very hard to stay really focused on work, because I think when you come together, when you're so remote, like we are spread out as a team, and then my peers in other teams or the same department but different like regional teams or whatever. So when you come together, there's that sense of, there's a social sense to it, hence why it's healthy to be in an office environment. But I'm very driven to get my work done. So I have to go into an office on what would be a quietest day. And I think it's things like that. It's knowing that, because I could just sit and work until my work is done. But that's not necessarily healthy either. It's great because I'm really disciplined. I eat that frog, I get my big stuff done.
Yeah.
But you've got to make room for the other things. And I want to be socially involved with my work peers. I don't want to feel isolated and segregated. I want autonomy, but I don't. So again, knowing that that encourages me to then show up and go into an office. It encourages me to get involved in the team chat, because there is a big picture there. So it's that bigger picture thinking, have your specifics, and but just understand what are you doing it for, is essentially it, isn't it? Like, what are you doing it for?
Yeah. And I just want to go back to like what we were saying originally about if we're doing something longer term, if we are on a big plan or we do want that relationship, it's what we were saying about we start with this motivation and we're like, yes. And then we get to a point where it gets boring.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I want to like touch on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good to be boring. It needs to be boring.
A lot happens in boredom though, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Your imagination sparks off. And this is another thing about this is definitely another conversation about like kids and boredom, and when you're bored, imagination starts to get going, creativity actually gets going, because again, such is life, you think that one thing means one thing, you think boredom means kind of like, oh, lazy. It doesn't actually. Boredom creates space
Yes.
for stuff to start to grow. But people, they don't want to, when people can't, you spoke about this in another conversation that we had, if people don't want to sit with themselves, nobody wants to be on their own because they're scared of what's going on in their head. But you are going to have to just be, relationship breaks up, you're just going to have to be sad.
But so many people want to jump to the next relationship.
The instant gratification.
But the power in a transformation in a relationship, whatever, jumping,
money,
is that middle bit.
Yeah.
So you finish it with somebody, or you are 2 weeks into your plan, you're starting getting bored, and you don't want to be in it because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You don't want to be on your own because...
So what does one piece of cake difference make? What does one text message
from somebody saying, you look great today,
okay.
or what? Yeah,
I'll post one selfie to get a few likes.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that's the point.
That's the point. That's where nobody goes.
It's the shallow.
Very few people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to sit. You've just got to
sit in that shadow.
In the shadow, sit in the mud.
To gain the strength.
To then build the resilience. So the next time you get bored, or the next time you're feeling a bit, it's all right, we've been here before. We've been to that line. Yeah. We've been pushed over the line. And I feel like we were using like dating as another area of life that people seem to really struggle in, and it brings up quite a lot of anxieties for people, doesn't it? And that whole, if you want to join a dating app and everyone's got opinions on that, well, it's okay. You can join the dating app. But what are you what for? Okay, saving the money. What for?
Yeah.
Sign up to the PT. What for? You've got to know what for. How are you? Because if you don't know what you're showing up for, you won't like what you're going to get in return. Yeah, it's how you. Yeah. So we were saying, weren't we? Like, if you go on a dating app and you put out there, because you think it's going to get more attraction, more attention, you just put out there something like, as if you just want fun on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Then you get the fun on the Friday night and you feel really, really good about that. I've had the amount of women that I know get this, and this happens. And then you think you wake up Saturday morning and then you don't have that same feeling because he doesn't actually want what you want in the end. Well, no, because you didn't really, you weren't honest about what you wanted.
Yeah.
You put yourself out there to get your instant gratification, which you got, and you were super happy for one evening, but then because you weren't honest about what you were really in it for.
Intentional.
Be intentional. Join up to the PT, the plan, with the right intention.
Reasons, yeah.
Go in there knowing that you're in it for the long run. Go in there knowing that, you're going to love the amount of endorphins, the amount of dopamine, and all this that is, you're going to go through these chemical reactions, because that's all anything ever is, by the way. Everything's temporary. We're only information gathering, and it's all based on chemicals, so you can change it. That's every single thing that we do. But it's going to feel ace. But then a couple of weeks in, like you say, when the scale weight slowly starts to plateau a little bit, and you're not hitting as many PBs because it's not new to the body anymore, so you've got to push it again, you've got to almost restart. Yeah, you're going to think, you're just going to have to feel it, is a point, isn't it, that we're making?
Yeah.
You've when you know what your bigger picture is, and you anchor your discipline to something that's not just a singular outcome, and when you have an awareness and you tell yourself, yeah, we know, you and I have had 41 years of learning now, pretty much know how I'm going to react to something by default. And I know how I want to react to something. So learn with what, you've got the amount of diets people have probably failed at, the amount of gym memberships you've had and never turned up. You've got a good bit of info there to go on.
Yeah.
Right? So they're not, all those things that you think you failed at before, all of those failures are a really good batch of study. It's something to study, isn't it? So if you can sit and reflect and go, okay, why have I failed before? What's not worked before? What mistakes have I made? You could pretty much guarantee success based on everything you haven't done up to this point in your life. Everything you wanted to do but you haven't done. Everything you have done but you didn't want to do. Look at it however you want. But I think we said this, watch episode 1. And I said something along the lines of, everything that you've failed at, they're your flashing red lights at what not to be doing and to go down another route. And absolutely, if you can do that, if you can be super brave and look at all of your faults and all of your imperfections, I can guarantee you that if you do not repeat those behaviours, you will succeed.
Yes.
Just don't do what you've always done.
Yeah.
Top and bottom, isn't it?
And be so rooted in your reason for doing stuff that discipline is just...
It eventually, you should be so disciplined.
It's not a thing.
To your greater good. Yeah, your bigger reason. You should be so disciplined to it, not in the sense, as we say, that the dictionary will tell you, but in a sense of, if you've anchored your discipline to the right thing, you should become so disciplined that discipline doesn't even exist. You're just doing it until you want to change it. Then you've got to rediscipline to something else, because change is inevitable.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. In all areas of life, your financial situations will change. Your family situations will change, your relationships will change. A friend of mine now, they're going through a change. Her children have reached this teenage age, they're late teenagers, school, college, they're emerging into their youth and their independence. And my friend is now finding herself in this place of rediscovery because her job no longer exists. She's been made redundant as kind of mum. But that's not true. Mum becomes something else. She just doesn't know what that looks like yet, because she's not got there yet, and she will. But yeah, her and her husband are very much now looking at what their life looks like, because it's changing, but there's beauty in that. It's a clean, fresh canvas. So at work, things are going to change. Everything has to move and shift. And that is also part of that discipline, isn't it? I think sometimes people find it very hard when things do alter, and it's an extrinsic thing that altered, so it's outside of your control, and now you've got to flow with that. That can be really, really hard for people, and then that can push people to go and seek that gratification elsewhere, can't it, when something outside of them altered. But again, if you can be really aligned with your sense of self and really understand those reasons, you can move with it and flow with it, and not feel so out of control, isn't it? You know. But yeah, essentially just the choices that you're making, there's no good or bad, there's no right or wrong. There's just knowing, I think. Would you say?
Yeah. I just really want people to walk away from this podcasting episode, and we always say that, don't we?
You know what we mean.
I really want people to walk away from this episode and just go over every avenue in their life and just, okay, what am I doing that for? What is it for?
What is it
ultimately, what is it for? And just stop and think about that. And is it for a shallow, or, is it driven by ego, or
is it for somebody else?
Yeah, is it somebody else's reason? Is it really me? Is it what I want
to do?
Is this what I want?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Excellent.
I'd love for people to ask any questions about this or anything.
Any
deeper.
trigger points or any...
Yeah, anything that's made you think,
yeah,
oh, I never thought of it that way, or...
even, do you disagree? Do you
Yeah,
agree,
do you disagree?
Yeah. Or any specific, any personal, situations that you want, perhaps a bit of navigation on, or how to apply this to something very specific that we've not touched upon. But I think essentially the areas of life, that the formula's the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
I just want people to know you can do hard stuff, and sticking with something you've said you would do, if you're not used to it, especially, beautiful things happen on the other side. They really do.
Yeah.
They really do. So I encourage you, if you've been thinking about something or wanted to start something, just do it.
Yeah. I think if you just go away and look at things that happen, like, if you removed, as human beings, and we know all this stuff that we know, and the brain is amazing, but it can be our own worst enemy. Just look at something that doesn't have a choice. So when you look at like animals who don't have all of this, they don't have this complex thought that we have, they just have to. Okay, so they have to be hungry. If there's no food source, they have to be hungry. But then when a food source appears and they're absolutely starving, and that, that lion has got to feed her cubs, but she is unbelievably depleted, she doesn't think, I can't be arsed, I'm going to phone a takeaway. She has to dig from a place that she doesn't even know is there. She's not sitting thinking, have I got the energy for this run? No, she's thinking, I've got to feed me. I've got to feed my cubs. There's a buffalo over there. She's not considering and weighing up how hungry she is versus how much energy. She just has to go and kill the buffalo. She just has to. She doesn't have a choice. She doesn't have a thought process. She doesn't have...
Deliveroo.
There's no option, is there? She just has to do it, right?
Exactly.
So if you really, really want something, that you've essentially... knowing that her bigger reason is survival, and she doesn't question that. She just wants to survive. She just wants to live. Her body is just telling her about how to continue life. Okay, when you can apply that to stuff, you've just got to. She's just got to be hungry for as long as she's hungry, and then she's just got to get up and run for the buffalo and pull that energy out to feed, because that's all she's thinking about. So, if there was only water on the shelf and you were thirsty, you can't go for the full fat Coke because there's only water. So if you can just live your life kind of like that, almost like, well, just imagine none of this other stuff exists.
It's all distraction.
Just all the distractions just got to go away. Exactly. Yeah. Then essentially, that's kind of what we're after. Imagine a flower, kind of growing through. The amount of energy it takes to go from a seed to uprooting and then flourishing out of the ground, that's not easy, right? If that seed had a choice, it probably wouldn't do it. Like, why bother? But it doesn't know it's not supposed to do that job. It just does it. It just takes the rain and it takes the energy off the sun and it just breaks through. The weeds break through the concrete. Would you do that if you had a choice? And that's the question.
Yeah.
What's your concrete? What sits beyond the concrete? And then why do you want to push through it? But when the concrete starts to give that bit of resistance, and yeah, you can't be asked to cook dinner, so you're going to, your concrete is Uber Eats, or your concrete is, it's whatever that instant whatever in that area of your life is going to give you that instant happiness, that's your concrete. So if doing that is going to feel really good in that moment of boredom, that's your concrete, and that's what you've got to push through.
Yeah. I love how that's ended. Just
And
as
on
the doorbell
that,
went. Thank you for listening.
As within,
So
so
without.
without. Bye.